I'd be sitting in my recliner and my knee would pop, and my wife would have to come over and grab my foot and pull my leg again and pop it back into place.
Michael Tifo remembers the first time he dislocated his knee. He and his wife Sandra were visiting family.
I was sitting at the dining room table and I had to slide my chair back and kind of pick it up. And when I did, my right knee popped and my leg went numb from the knee down.
That night, it got worse.
When I got into bed, it happened again. And this time it was excruciating. I was in tears. I was screaming and yelling. And my wife was there and she's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And I was like, "Grab my foot and pull on it."
My first thought was to go to the emergency, go to the doctor, but he's like, no, it's gonna be okay. I just twisted it.
But it wasn't okay. Over the next 2 years, Michael's knee would continue to dislocate on a regular basis, causing him severe pain and limiting his mobility.
I couldn't bend it. I noticed I couldn't ride my bike as much as I could anymore. Doing things like climbing ladders and things got a little more difficult. And over time, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
I was basically bringing things to him, bringing his meals, and he was very frustrated because he couldn't get up. He couldn't move. He couldn't do what he normally does. And that, for him, is very frustrating because he's an active person, an active adult.
Finally, Michael saw a doctor who told him he had a torn meniscus and recommended surgery. Michael went through with the procedure, but says within 2 weeks he was back where he started, only worse.
This time the pain didn't go away. The pain was constant. It was just, and it was obvious. It wasn't sharp pains or anything like that like before, but it was more of a constant numbing sensation that I would feel all the time.
I felt very helpless. I didn't want to see him that way. It continued for a while. It didn't get any better. And even after we reached out to the doctors and saw the doctors, we saw a specialist, and they didn't give us any hope.
In January of 2023, they were watching the 700 Club, and hosts Gordon Robertson and Terry Meeuwsen were getting ready to pray for the audience.
Before he prayed, he said, if there were more people in the room, have those people lay their hands on you. And that's what we did.
The promise is when two or more agree touching anything. So if you have a need in your body, a need for healing, reach your hand in an act of faith and touch it.
We always think there's always this other side of us, this human side that tells us, is it going to happen? Is it true? You know, that wavers a little bit.
Someone else, you're laying your hand on your right knee. God's restoring mobility to you. He's restoring cartilage. He's able to knit together everything, your tendons, all of it. In Jesus' name, be healed and be made whole.
After we prayed and, everything was done and, that part of the video was over, that constant numbing pain that I had in my leg from the knee down was completely gone. I mean, she was overjoyed. I was overjoyed. I couldn't believe it. She was just like, "You don't feel the pain at all?" I said, "No, the pain's gone." That numbness that I had in my leg from the knee down is completely gone.
Michael says his knee is still perfectly functional and pain-free.
This entire experience has cemented my faith. I've always been faithful. I've always been a prayer warrior and believed in prayer. But what I've learned from this experience is that I need to be specific in my prayers to the Lord, to my Father. I need to tell him exactly what I need.
And anybody that says prayer doesn't work, they need to step it up and pray harder because it does work. I am 110% grateful. It's changed our lives. Both of us are very thankful.